Welcome to the League of Melanated Gentlemen podcast. I'm Spenser. I'm one of your hosts, and it's a great day to be here. I'm joined on this glorious day by the other two members of the League of Melanated Gentlemen who have come here today to bring you some more superhero enjoyment and just, another fun activity for us to do and for you to agree or disagree with.
This is Brandon.
And this is Jordan.
Now, before we just jump into today's episode, orders of business must be gotten out of the way. And the first order of business is, where can you find us? Where can you interact with us? Where can you talk to us? Jordan, can you tell them where they can find us?
Yeah, they can find us on Facebook at the League of Melanated Gentlemen podcast. There's a Facebook group that you can join. You can also find us on Twitter at the LMG podcast. You can follow us on YouTube. Episodes drop there as well. The League of Melanated Gentlemen. And then you can also find us on any streaming service that you listen to your podcast at. And then don't forget to also rate and review us, because that always helps us out. So yeah, that's everywhere you can find us.
Excellent. We look forward to seeing you and talking to you and reading what you have to say. So, in today's episode, we have decided to pit the MCU against everyone else. So, this episode, and we may have other episodes that are the same format, because as you know, here at the League, sometimes we make unanimous decisions. Other times we have split decisions. Some of us have very wild takes. Some of us have opinions that are,
yeah.
we all of us have said something that someone had a problem with.
That's true.
Someone does more than others, but that's okay.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, we don't want to get into Brandon's takes on Captain America.
No. Yeah.
Well,
that's not what he was talking about, but yeah.
We might a little bit, but so what we're doing today, we are taking solo superhero movies. It will be the MCU versus everyone else. It will be best of 7. How this is going to work, I have 7 MCU movies, solo MCU movies, or solo meaning the movie is about or surrounds an individual character. So we're not talking about group movies, family movies, or squad movies. We're talking about solo movies. So while there may be more than one hero in these movies, the movie centers around one hero. That is how we are defining a solo superhero movie. So I've taken 7 MCU solo movies. I have taken 7 non-MCU solo superhero movies. I have assigned each of them a number, and then I ran a random number generator. So, much like a bracket, we don't know who's going to end up against who. And depending on the matchup, it could create an upset, because if something is matched up with something, it may win against that, but it may have lost in a different matchup. So this will be best of 7. We are going to pit one movie against one movie. We are going to discuss it. We will vote on a winner, and that will get a point. So really, we're just saying how the MCU does against everyone else. Will the MCU come out victorious, or will the MCU lose to everyone else? We're going to see what happens. So, gentlemen, we understand how this works.
Get it? Yeah, I get it.
Audience,
I'm ready.
Audience, you understand how this works? I hope so, because we're jumping in. So, for the first matchup, we have Iron Man versus Wonder Woman.
Ooh, interesting. Okay.
So, let's talk about it. Iron Man, first Iron Man.
I was gonna say, did you break it down into? Should we break it down even further, like characters, plot, CGI? No, not CGI. Or should we just talk about it all?
Well, I think we should talk about it all because there could be a situation where, like, yes, this movie might be categorically better, but I like the other one more. Like, there's room for bias here.
Absolutely.
And so, because I've said before, something being the best and something being my favorite, not always the same.
Yeah.
Okay. I can live with that.
Yeah. So there might be a situation where, like, oh yeah, that movie's better, but I would rather watch the other one. So, and what I've done, to try to make it fair, I picked, I mean, I didn't pick any movies that we all think are just garbage, as far as I know. I picked movies that we all think are at least okay. So, you know, it may be a really good movie against a pretty okay movie on one side or the other. Who knows? It's all about the matchup. And so right now, like I said, Iron Man versus Wonder Woman. So let's start with Iron Man. Gentlemen, what do we think about Iron Man?
I mean, it was groundbreaking. You know what I mean? It changed the game. I mean, at the time, yeah, we didn't know it was going to spawn into this whole universe, but even then, we were like, damn, like CGI is ahead of its time. The suit was amazing. Just Tony Stark in general was cool, where in no point before that was Tony Stark considered cool. He was, he was kind of he was a known character, but he wasn't like, oh man, I want to be Tony Stark.
He's still B tier.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
He's not what he is today.
Yeah, absolutely. So it definitely changed the game.
It's a beautiful movie.
It really is. It still holds up.
And that's the thing, is even today, it's still a quality movie. There are a lot of movies that, like, when they came out and now, very different feelings. Right. But this movie holds up very well. And that's even with literally every single MCU movie coming after it. Like, it's still in the top half. Like, it's still good. And usually that's not the case. Usually, like, in a series this large, especially whenever you have this level of quality that they're producing, the earlier stuff kind of gets, lost or forgotten about. But I guess that's not always the case, because I feel like more people like the first stuff that Star Wars did rather than the stuff they've done recently.
Yeah, but I feel like, not to go on a tangent, but is that because, like, a lot of people just like, oh, they can never outdo, the originals, and then they just like hate everything, all the new stuff? And do they also hate Disney because what Disney is now? So I wonder, does a lot of that also come from that hate?
That is,
like, Disney's very pissy.
I will say, yeah, Star Wars fans are, or at least some Star Wars fans, I'm not going to come for everyone, but I have seen the Star Wars fan base be very aggressive and opinionated and unwilling to compromise.
Yeah, because I feel like they talk about the newer movies like they're just the worst thing ever, and I'm like, yo, this is not that bad.
Right? No, I agree.
And that's the thing. I don't have the authority to speak on it.
Brandon does, though.
I do. Absolutely, I do. I'm 10, baby. I was just watching Mandalorian. Come on, man. Talk to me.
That's the thing. I feel like for Star Wars, a lot of people don't like the third trilogy, like 7, 8, 9, but the shows and stuff, because I've not heard anything bad about Mandalorian at all. Like, I've
the new season,
only heard
I think the new season, I think people are a little disappointed with this new season so far, even though it's still pretty early in the game. I've heard some grumbles about it, but that's all I've heard. But back to Iron Man, Wonder Woman. I think one of the most beautiful scenes in the first Iron Man to me, still to this day, is the scene where he shoots that little missile at the tank and he like turns around and walks away and it just explodes in the background. And like you just see him, like, to me, that is still to this day one of the most beautiful scenes, in the MCU history.
To this day.
Yeah.
I agree. That was that scene. Like, when I think Iron Man 1, that's the scene that comes to mind.
Yeah. I think of that one, and I think of the one where Tony turned around.
Hold the hands out with the Jericho missile.
Yeah.
Both explosions behind him.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
I will say that Jericho explosion when that thing went off, that was a good scene. He turned around. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
that
was a
was
good
fire.
scene too.
That was fire.
I
And
mean, I think
they made his origin story like interesting. Like in the comics, like that was not an interesting origin story, but like they made it. They modern put some modern takes on it,
yeah,
and it definitely was more interesting.
I think Iron Man might be a tough one though. It might be a tough one to get at.
Okay, so Wonder Woman.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to hedge my bet here, but I think DC got this one. Honestly, this is a tough matchup for Iron Man, but like Wonder Woman. I mean, Iron Man was groundbreaking, but Wonder Woman was like on a different level, groundbreaking. First of all, first like female superhero movie that like was a smash, and it was a beautiful movie to watch. The plot was great. Yeah, it was just all around. Like Wonder Woman's one of the most popular characters of all time, so it wasn't like this put her on the map or anything. But to execute it in live action so well to this degree, fire. Yeah,
No, I agree. I mean, one of the scenes I think about when I think Wonder Woman is the scene with her, obviously like blocking the bullets. And she's like, she went over the bunker. Oh no, not the bunker, the foxhole.
Yeah.
And like she's in the middle of thing, and she just like blocks it with her cuffs. Like for me, like that scene in Wonder Woman was like real good.
I agree.
That was
like,
beautiful.
For Wonder Woman, that's the scene that comes to mind is the bullet coming and her just being like, ping.
Yeah.
So,
and Gal Gadot look real good too. So I mean, that's an extra point. Don't hurt.
Yes, extra point.
But yeah, like even the scene where like she's in like the village and she like dude was like, I think he was a sniper. He was in like a top little bunker, like he was in the top of the tower. Yeah, she like jumps and then that thing just makes it explode. Like that was that was a fire scene.
Through the whole building.
Yeah, that was amazing. Yeah, man, to me, it gotta be Wonder Woman to me, man. Like it's just Wonder Woman's top tier in general, superhero movies in general. So yeah. I don't know about y'all. But.
Brandon casts his vote for Wonder Woman. Jordan?
I mean, I'm gonna be honest, as much as I would like to say Iron Man, I agree with Brandon. Like Wonder Woman was a fantastic movie. And I mean, it truly made me like Wonder Woman in this light. My only complaint though with Wonder Woman is her suit. And I think that's because how dark it was for me. Like I wanted more of like a brighter red, which is not, I guess not really a complaint, more of a nitpick. I wanted to be like a little bit more brighter red, but I mean that's just what the Snyderverse was. Everything was just dark.
Yeah.
But overall, the movie, I think the movie was better than Iron Man 1. So I agree.
Okay. All right. By unanimous decision, non-MCU takes a point.
Let's go DC. Let's go DC.
Oh boy.
For the next matchup. Again, this was randomly generated. I would like to point that out.
Be some mess.
Fighting for the MCU, we have Captain Marvel. Fighting for non-MCU, we have The Dark Knight.
Oh gosh. Oh god. This is like when Duke plays like Mount St. Benedict's School of Dentistry or some shit. Like I don't know.
It sounds up School of Dentistry.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, do we need to talk about it?
Look,
I mean, I feel like for the sake of time, I think we have to talk about it.
Okay, Captain Marvel. I think underrated MCU movie. I enjoy it every time I rewatch it. There's some really cool. Like obviously, Captain Marvel herself wasn't the most like charismatic character, the character that you're like, oh, I can't wait to see them in something again. However, I feel like Captain Marvel has one of the greatest like ensembles of the MCU. You know what I mean? Like just the characters that come along with her, I definitely would sign up for another. You know, obviously I'm excited for the next Marvel, Captain Marvel movie or anything she's involved with. So yeah, to that credit, like I just think ensemble, amazing. I'll give her that.
I agree.
Yeah, I would say with your underrated comment, like I definitely agree. And I still don't understand all the hate that Brie Larson gets. Like I didn't think she was a bad Captain Marvel. Like for me, it was not bad.
She just fell flat.
Yeah, it was a little like they wanted you to feel sorry for her, but she just kind of just was like dead the whole time. I don't know.
I was like, yeah, I wonder if it's her facial features. Like I remember when Twilight came out, and the biggest complaint with everybody was like, I can't remember the main girl. Was it Bella?
Kristen Stewart,
No.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, whatever her character's name is. Like I feel like her facial features never change through any of the movies. And so I feel like maybe Brie Larson is getting a little bit of that. Like her face just like never changes. Like even looking at images now, like all the images of her are just like straight face. No smile, no angry, no emotion.
Yeah, it just wasn't like usually a superhero is like quippy or super serious in kind of a funny way. Or like, you know what I mean? And she was just like in the middle. And it was just like, all right, like you're not giving me anything.
I think that was the thing. Like it didn't feel like she was giving us anything.
Right.
And then we have The Dark Knight.
Yeah. Hey man. DC off to a great start. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, it's going pretty well for or it's not going well for the MCU right now, but that could change. There's still time.
There's still time. There's definitely still time. Yeah, we all know Dark Knight. Like Dark Knight.
It's
we talk about game changer. That thing.
It's known as one of the greatest movies to ever have been made by
some
people.
Have we asked this question? I cannot remember, but the Dark Knight trilogy or the Captain America trilogy?
I don't think we've talked about it on here, but we have asked that question on the Facebook group.
In our group, did we ever give but we've never talked about it on air, huh? So for people not in our Facebook group, this would be a good opportunity for you to come join the Facebook group.
These are the types of conversations that happen.
Right.
I will say it's one of my most proud hot takes. And ever since I've said it, people are like, at first I get it out and they're like, wait, what? And they're like, well, damn, hold on.
Like, you know?
Yeah, and they start thinking about it, and then they'll be like, oh, okay. You know, so it makes you pause at least. You know, I'm rolling with Cat, but it's whatever.
As far as trilogy for trilogy, I am too. Because for me, the Dark Knight set has one movie that is at the highest tier. For Captain America, there are two.
Right. If not three, but I get what you're saying.
No, definitely
don't stretch it.
Yeah, you
don't stretch it now.
With two. You got lucky with two. You ain't getting three.
I ain't get lucky with two. We know two is that's easy.
No.
But
so with the Dark Knight trilogy, so is it which one is the weak link? The Dark Knight Rises?
Well, I'm saying that Batman Begins and The Dark Knight Rises are not in the same
Batman
conversation as Winter Soldier or Civil War.
People not out here talking about the third Batman like that?
No. They talk about Bane, but
I do like Bane. I mean, you know, oh, you thought the darkness was all yeah. A Bane voice is great to have fun with.
Right. Absolutely. But his character itself, amazing. But the movie, no.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I'm going Captain America too. That was pretty simple for me.
Yeah. I mean, you know, and me and Bruce, we go way back.
Yeah.
But also, my hot take, Christian Bale is not my favorite Batman.
Oh, who's your Batman?
Honestly, Ben Affleck.
Oh, you know, that's a hot take, but I honestly am not mad at it. I honestly was pissed that he didn't get his own movie because I wanted to lock in my decision as well.
Same.
I think he's the best Bruce Wayne to me, for sure. Batman, I think he was creeping up there. Like I always say that scene in was it Batman vs Superman?
Yeah, in the warehouse.
In the warehouse, that's one of the greatest Batman scenes I've ever seen.
Period.
Yeah.
Period. Now, of course, like if we're talking everyone, Kevin Conroy, R.I.P., is my Batman. But as far as live action goes, mine is Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
Do I have even more of a hot take? My favorite Batman is Adam West.
Stop it.
All right.
No, I'm just
We're
playing.
done.
No, I'm just playing.
Stop
it.
Get out
No,
of
I
here.
know somebody old out there listening. They're like, 66 Batman. That's the best Batman ever.
That's definitely an anti everything you would have ever said before. That's definitely not a Jordan take. Adam West
at all. Like he was campy and
you said Thomas Wayne, I'd be like, oh, I can see it. I can see it.
Yeah. Speaking of, do you guys think he could ever reappear in the DCEU?
Who?
Adam West?
He's dead.
What? When did Adam West die?
Pretty sure a couple years ago.
What do you mean? You mean like the actual character?
Oh shit! I didn't realize Adam
he
West
means
died.
Adam West. Yeah, Adam West.
I didn't realize he died.
He's dead.
Yeah. So
And
no one brings him up.
Yeah, like pre-pandemic died.
Yeah, bro. That's when no one brings his name up.
That's crazy. I didn't realize he died. I guess. Oh, you know what? He ain't been on Family Guy, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Rest in peace. I didn't realize that. That's almost bad as that time I found out what's the name from wrestling died. Who remember the episode we talked about? I found out somebody died.
Oh, Chris Benoit?
Yeah. Oh, the reason he killed yeah. That was about
Oh yeah.
Oh
this
yeah.
Nigga. Wow. What did he do?
Yeah.
What did he do? We was just like, nah, nigga, we don't want to talk about it. No, what did he do?
Oh God, that was great. Like you learning that in real time. Like that was a genuine reaction.
Yeah. That was
like, oh shit.
Yeah, that dude is wild.
Yeah, man. That's one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, and I can't even speak about him.
We don't talk about Benoit.
Yeah, we don't talk about Benoit.
Anyway, The Dark Knight.
Yeah, man.
That's easy.
That sounds like two easy dubs for DC coming out the gate.
By unanimous decision, the non-MCU takes another point. For the next matchup, we have playing for the MCU, Winter Soldier.
I don't care what you say.
And
there's I don't care what you say.
And playing for the non-MCU, Deadpool.
Yeah. Oh,
so Winter Soldier.
That's a layup. Come on, Jordan. What are we doing?
Winter Soldier. Let's talk about it.
Is it a layup though? Sometimes you can miss wide open layups.
Winter Soldier. Let's talk about it.
Sometimes you can win wide open layup.
Winter Soldier. It's the greatest MCU movie of all time. To me, I believe it executes in every level. It is an espionage movie. It is a spy thriller. It kicks off, to me, Steve Rogers like in his prime. First Avenger was kind of, you have to tell the whole story of his origin. This was like, we can just get into the Hydra, the spies, all that stuff, the Shield, all that stuff. And yeah, man, it has like some of the greatest action scenes we've seen in the MCU. We have the greatest character in the MCU, Steve Rogers. We have so many amazing.
Do you want to take his dick out your mouth yet? Like, how you gonna just say he's the greatest MCU character? He is not the greatest MCU character.
He's the greatest MCU character.
No, he's not. How?
What do you mean how?
I will probably put up an argument for Iron Man as the greatest MCU character.
Absolutely not.
I think he is the greater MCU character.
Absolutely not. But anyways, Steve Rogers is a man at a time. And yeah, it's just an outstanding movie from beginning to end. He's fighting against his boy. Like he don't want to hurt him, but then he's also wants to stop him because he's murdering people. I mean, come on, man. Like, it's the greatest movie out there with the greatest character. Yeah.
Man, I don't know how you're able to breathe with all that in your mouth. That's crazy.
This guy.
You know what? I feel like I've talked about Winter Soldier enough. I'm gonna go over to Deadpool. Deadpool. Just remember when this movie came out, no one knew what this movie could do. Now you want to talk about changing the game. You all know that this one are being R-rated changed it. It really did change the landscape of superhero movies because after this we got the most amazing movie Logan,
which Brandon still hasn't seen, so we were not able to put on this list, and it is nothing but disappointment.
Yeah, who ain't seen Logan at this point? Like, hey, that's wild to me.
Guys, relax. You act like that thing hit Netflix the next week. The thing ain't on no streaming services. The thing went to out of theaters, and nobody was like, "Yo, go check out Logan on Disney." Like that joint is on nowhere to be found.
I'm pretty sure it's on Disney Plus.
I now think it is, yeah.
But that was up till last year, whatever.
Yeah, but when it came out, it was 2017. This streaming services wasn't even popping like that. It was only Netflix.
And
that further makes my point.
The acquisition was a while ago, Brandon.
But I'm saying it hasn't. I'm saying Logan was not on Disney Plus this whole time, even when the acquisition happened, because the movie came out on like the acquisition. What was that? 2018? I don't remember. But my point is,
at this point, it don't even matter. It's on Disney Plus, and you still ain't even watched it. But meanwhile, you out here watching every single Star Wars thing that hits Disney Plus, but you missing one of the greatest superhero movies out there.
Sorry, algorithm. Blame that algorithm.
And you said you like a Western. Like Logan is everything you need.
Not an X-Men guy,
It's literally what? 2 X-Men in it? Wolverine and Professor X? That's it.
Even so, I think you should give
I'll check it out. I do need to watch it. I agree with that.
Anyway,
but yeah, Jordan, give this mute argument.
I mean, how fantastic Deadpool was. I mean, the scenes like I just remember the beginning of the movie where Deadpool was just like sitting there talking at the top of that billboard, and he just like drops down the car, immediately like starts blasting people, cutting people's heads off. He's like, "Oh, I wore my red pants, so you wouldn't see me bleed." He wore his brown pants so you wouldn't see. Like, his jokes was fire. Negasonic Teenage Warhead or whatever her name was. I love the two of them going against each other. And then also Colossus. How amazing was that to see this fantastic looking Colossus? A lot of the Deadpool jokes hit, man. It really did.
That is surprising. You like Deadpool jokes, but don't like Guardians jokes. And like
Guardians 2 was too jokey now.
Deadpool was from beginning to end quips one after another.
It was rated R jokes.
Yeah. Versus fucking Drax, like, "Oh, I'm gonna stand still. You can't see me." I didn't know you were still standing there. Like, no, I should ass trash. Like, no. Deadpool jokes were actually funny.
I think he did that in one of the Infinity movies.
It felt like a Guardians movie because that's definitely what Guardians 2 did.
I won't say it was 2.
Yeah, that was 2. They was on a Milano, and he did that.
I thought that in Infinity War is when he was like, because Gamora and Chris Pratt were having the conversation of, if he gets me, you have to promise that you'll kill me. And then they turn and Drax is just standing there eating chips.
Oh, I don't know. Well,
that was Infinity War.
Either way, it was trash. It felt like a Guardians 2 thing. Like it should have been in Guardians 2.
You be just getting all these things. You just be running them together, getting them confused.
I think I'm getting old. My memory is like getting all messed up and jacked up. I don't know. But yeah, I'll talk to you. Spencer, what you think, man?
Well,
what's your thoughts on this movie or either movie?
I say Winter Soldier is just so good. It does everything right. It is one of the best superhero movies that has ever been made across anything. Deadpool, also great. I love Deadpool. I don't have anything negative to say about either of these movies. I think that they both did exactly what they were supposed to do. They executed very well. And yeah, I love them both. Brandon, we know where your vote is.
You already know, baby. Let's go.
Spencer, what's your vote? I want to see your vote first, Spencer, because I know which one I'm gonna go with. I'm not changing my answer. I want to see which one you go with.
Well, I'm wanting to see if you go with the Deadpool because I can split the decision if you do.
Okay. I mean,
if you're not going with Deadpool, then it doesn't matter.
If you pick Deadpool, your respect is out the window, buddy.
I mean, I'm definitely going Winter Soldier. Because I mean, come on now, Winter Soldier is one of the greatest superhero movies out there. It's one of the greatest games. It's out there doing it big.
Yeah. So, yeah. This was a unanimous decision.
Dang, that sucks, man. I hate agreeing with y'all, both of y'all. Like, I gotta get some non-agreements in here.
Oh, we'll see what happens on this next one.
Oh boy.
So, by unanimous decision, the MCU gets a point. Right now, we are standing at 2 points for non-MCU and 1 point for the MCU. For the next matchup, playing for the MCU, we have Thor Ragnarok.
Oh God.
And playing for the non-MCU, we have Shazam.
Oh God. Oh, the first one?
Yes, the first Shazam.
Oof.
Not Fury of the Gods, just Shazam. Brandon? Ragnarok. Talk about it.
Ragnarok, amazing movie. I mean, hit on all different areas. All the jokes landed. You had a really cool like Thor in space. Like that's fun. And especially, and to me, like this is Thor in his prime. To me, this is like around the time, obviously a little bit before Infinity War, but like that's him. This started his prime, and so him incorporating the Grandmaster and Hulk and Valkyrie and all these things and Hela. And you got Loki, which is really like she was a really good villain. Yeah, man, like this movie, amazing all around. Ragnarok is, again, what we say, top 10 movie.
I mean, like the meme says, is it?
It really is. Like it holds up.
It is.
It holds up all around. Like I don't really understand. Like
unless the jokes were just too much. Not everyone is into the funny Thor. Like
love Deadpool though.
Deadpool.
Deadpool is funnier, and the problem is the MCU be having some corny jokes, and Deadpool just came out with the heat. You know, I feel like Deadpool is much like a Dave Chappelle, and you know, Thor is much like a Kevin Hart. Like, you know, some people like Kevin Hart; they think he's funny in stand-ups, but he's not that funny in stand-ups. Everyone loves Dave Chappelle.
I mean, I guess. Either
Kevin
way,
Hart is he's a safe bet. He's a safe comedian.
My point, like, even if you take away the jokes from Ragnarok, it's still amazing.
Oh yeah, take away the jokes. It's a good movie. Take away the jokes. It's a good movie.
But it's not like it was like trying to be a comedy the whole way. It was funny.
It definitely wasn't trying to be a comedy.
No, I feel like Love and Thunder was like hard trying to be a comedy. Like you know, heavily trying to be a comedy. This one had jokes in it, maybe a little much, but definitely had jokes in it. But it definitely had a bunch of action scenes. Like it really told a good story. So yeah, that's why, you know, Ragnarok's top tier Marvel movie.
Now I will say there was some really good moments in Ragnarok. Like as far as like seeing Hela go against all the Valkyries and like how they did that kind of slow motion.
Bro, that was one of the most beautiful shots in MCU history.
Thor versus Hulk fighting in the arena. Like he's like, Bruce. Like he thought he was gonna recognize him. It's like, nah, bro. You got the wrong one right now.
Got to get these hands.
Korg.
You didn't like so you don't like Korg?
No, Korg was better than Thor. You know, I can rock with Korg. I ain't really mess with Thor in this one.
All right.
I mean,
the whole like the little like play that they were doing.
Oh yeah, hilarious.
Matt Damon.
That was good.
Random.
That was random as hell. Like, yeah,
that was good. And I mean, and Hela breaking the hammer. That was a big deal too.
Yeah.
And wasn't that the one where that's the movie where like Thor and Loki have like a real conversation? Like Thor was like I want, like I love you, like I want to trust you, but I can't.
Is that right after the dad died?
think so. No, I think that was when they were trying to escape. Was it Grandmaster?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh yeah.
That was it around Get Help?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was amazing, underrated like dialogue between them two. So yeah, really, really good.
Okay. What was the other? What was the other one?
Shazam, the first Shazam.
Shazam. Really good, really fun movie. I ain't gonna say just super good, but it was a fun movie. I had a good time. I thought it was true. Like this one was like really, and it was kind of refreshing when DC, you know, usually pretty dark and
I agree with that.
overly dark, and where this was like, now we're gonna have a good time. And that's why I liked it way more than Shazam 2 because it focused on Billy Batson, who I think was the stronger character, at least in like performance wise. And then yeah, it just this, and I think Spencer, you talked about it, like Shazam as Shazam and Billy Batson, you kind of like you could see them being the same person. Whereas in Shazam 2, it was like two different people once he turned into Shazam. So yeah, it was a fun movie. And it was like it was hard hitting. Like his mom just left him like that. Like that was tough.
Yeah, we saw his relationship with Freddy.
Yeah, Freddie was amazing. Like Freddie was hilarious in that. Yeah.
Spencer, what are your thoughts on Shazam?
I thought it was pretty good. I don't think it was, you know, the perfect movie or anything, but I definitely enjoyed it. It was a good time. We saw some very good things from that movie, and you know, I think it's one of DC's like the new DC stuff. It's one of their better outings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
As far as like DC's hit and miss, and that one I'd say was a hit.
I agree. I think it was a hit too. And I mean, the biggest thing to me, like Brandon said, was DC was like super dark at that time, and then Shazam came out bright. Like even the camera shot just itself, the time of day, like it was just so much brighter than everything that was around it.
Mm-hmm.
But with that being said, I think I gotta go. As much as I hate to say it, I might go Thor Ragnarok just because. I mean, Shazam was cool. I liked it. I did like Shazam. I did like the first one. The second one, not so much, but the first one for sure. But I think for all the hate that I give Ragnarok and the jokey stuff, like I think I would rather rewatch Thor Ragnarok over the first Shazam. Hell, over both Shazams at that.
Yeah, agreed.
By unanimous decision.
Oh my gosh.
Ragnarok takes the point. So the MCU has 2 and non-MCU has 2. For the next matchup, we have playing for the MCU, Ant-Man, and playing for non-MCU, Man of Steel.
Ooh.
Man, this is a good matchup, I think. I think this might be the one where we disagree.
Okay. Brandon, what are your thoughts?
I
go Ant-Man first.
Okay, let's go Ant-Man first. I enjoyed Ant-Man. I love a heist movie. I'm always down for a heist movie. I thought they did a really good job of making like Scott Lang interesting. In the comics, not the most interesting guy.
He's not even like the Ant-Man we know.
Exactly. Exactly. When I read the comics, I want to see Hank Pym. You know what I mean? Right. So in this, they made him interesting. They made him like being a father and like trying to get he just can't get right, basically. He's just always messing something up, but he has the right intentions. I thought they did a really good at that. I love Paul Rudd. You know what I mean? He's outstanding. He was a cool little addition to the MCU. And I thought Yellow Jack was amazing. I thought the action scenes were like unbelievable.
Dude,
the one in the briefcase
fighting scene. Oh, the briefcase too. I was gonna say the one by the train on the train set when they're like riding the little Thomas train. Like that was a good scene.
Yeah, like they executed it 10 times better than I thought they could. Like I was like, I didn't doubt obviously CGI were capable of doing it in that time to be able to execute it, but they did it in like some really creative ways that I didn't think about. Like
like
the train.
the first time he goes small when he's inside the bathtub, and then
Oh
like
yeah,
they turn on the bathtub, and like it looks like he about to die. Like
yeah.
it looked like he about to
Facts.
drown.
Yeah, like terrified. Like somebody who does not like large bodies of water, like I was like, Jesus. But yeah, like again, they like executed that really well. I thought overall it was a really good movie, like really good solo movie. Like one of those like you don't think about it immediately when you think MCU, but when you look at it, you're like, that's a solid movie.
Yeah. We get introduced to his crew, T.I., the Russian dude, and Michael Pena. Is Michael Pena?
Yeah, it's Michael B.
Doesn't it? Yeah, Michael
Yeah.
Pena. I mean, Luis. Yeah, that's what I was trying to think of his character
Yeah,
name.
he's like one of the most
Luis.
beloved characters in
Yeah.
MCU.
Yeah. So I mean, and also I just remember also seeing them just riding on the ant too, like flying on the
Mhm.
ant and being
Yeah.
able to control the ants like that. That was pretty good.
Yeah, that was
What you
cool.
think,
They explained
Spencer?
it pretty well.
I enjoyed it, man. I mean, I thought it was like it was one of those movies where like you don't go in with expectations, and then when you come out, you're like, oh,
Yeah,
that was pretty good.
yeah. Agreed.
Man of Steel.
You know, my boy, me and Superman go way back.
Way
Spencer
back.
says, yeah, we go way back, man. And that's my guy. I think Man of Steel has one of the most toxic like discussions about superhero movies. I think it started around Man of Steel for some reason or another. People were like, once he killed Zod, people were just like, throw the movie away. I'm like, what the like? This is a really beautiful movie. Like, they executed like the powers really well. Like the flying, everything looked good. I thought he was a really good Clark. Yeah, I just thought Man of Steel was really good all around. I thought it like hit the points for the most part. I didn't like the way the dad died, but it was like whatever.
I didn't either. But
Yeah, I didn't.
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't either.
like that didn't need to happen. And
Yeah,
that was one of the things that like I didn't understand because
right,
like he goes to his parents all the time.
right. Yeah, that's
I
yeah,
understand I understand that a whole superhero trope is parents dead. I get that.
yeah,
But
right.
like why? His birth parents are dead.
Yeah.
But his adopted parents we can keep like yeah, he goes to John all the time.
Bro, and that's Zack Snyder not thinking long term, bro. Because what was the actor's name? What's my guy's
Kevin
name?
Costner.
Kevin Costner, outstanding actor, bro. Think of how many Superman movies you could have made. Where yeah, like Spencer said, he goes back to Kansas to get advice from his parents about something. You got Kevin, like that's an amazing actor. You just threw away and didn't even execute it really well. He just like
Tornado.
I seen that tornado coming. Like, come on, bro. You mean
yeah, like
Superman couldn't
like,
help
come
out
on,
a little
bro.
bit more?
And that's the
Yeah,
thing,
I'm
like, maybe I ain't shit, but like if I'm Superman, no, I'm going to get you.
Yeah, and my thing is like, come on, bro. Like you're from Kansas, bro. That's like being from Oklahoma and not knowing how to react to tornadoes. Like, come on, my boy. Like you've seen 1,000 of these things.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Could he not have like so he was like under the bridge? Could he have not like ran real fast, hurry up, change the Superman, go rescue him? That could be all done in like 10 seconds.
I don't think he was Superman yet. Like as far as having the suit.
Yeah, I mean,
he had all of his powers, but yeah, like I think this is
well then he could have ran at the tornado and potentially still saved him, and it would just been like a miracle. Like, I had a bunch of adrenaline.
Yeah, like nobody would have seen him do it if he would have done it at super speed. But
exactly,
it's whatever.
Outside of those little mistakes, I thought Man of Steel was a really good superhero movie. I mean, Superman movie. Like, obviously, there's some better ones, but
I mean, I don't think that I agree with the toxicity that surrounds the, I guess, climax, but that's not this movie's fault necessarily.
Right.
That's people being absurd. Jordan, what are your thoughts on Man of Steel?
I would definitely say like I was hardcore into collecting Blu-rays, and at the time, this was my first like DC movie, first and only DC movie that I bought. I really enjoyed Man of Steel, and like some of my
you
favorite
gave DC some money?
I bought it from Vintage Stock. Vintage Stock bought it from someone else, so I checked
Oh, here we go.
No, I'm playing. No, I really enjoy Man of Steel though. Some of my favorite parts of Man of Steel are actually like the flashbacks. Like I really enjoyed a lot of flashbacks. Like seeing him as a kid trying to deal with his coming of age with getting his powers and everything, and how people like treated him. He saved the kid on the bus. Like
the bus,
my favorite part. Yeah.
Yep.
And even like in the beginning of the movie, like I remember they were talking about like, oh, some mysterious person saved this ship liner in the ocean, and like you see him like jumping in the water and rescuing, holding up stuff.
I forgot about that scene. Jeez.
Yeah, the scene. Yeah, like there's some shit blowing up on like an oil rig or something, and then he just come out that shit shirtless, on fire.
Right.
Yeah.
It was like
I really enjoyed that stuff, and like even like I didn't have a problem with him killing Zod, but that's also me not necessarily knowing that Superman didn't kill. For some reason, I thought Superman did kill.
There are different versions of him. One of Superman's whole things generally is that he doesn't kill, but it depends on which version of him it is. Now, under the circumstances, Zod made it very clear.
Yeah,
Zod said, either you die or I do.
Right.
And then Zod said, if you love these people so much, you can mourn for them.
Yeah.
As he's lasering this family. And so Clark figured these people are innocent. And Zod has already said to me that if I don't kill him, he will slaughter this planet.
Right.
And I can't send him back to the Phantom Zone. So we got to do what we got to do. But also we're talking about, a darker universe and all that.
Yeah.
So.
That like I see both sides of it. I get it, because I don't necessarily want to see my Superman after that. I can't quite look at him the same as I usually do with Superman. However, you created the circumstance. I get it. Like he was about to murder, he was about to do the lasers his family. Like, yeah, you had to do what you had to do. But overall,
because then you get into the conversation about like the Joker and Batman conversation of like, do you know how many people died because you let him live?
Yeah, exactly.
So I will say, just what I'm thinking about now, a couple little nitpicks. I will say, one, it was super lame when they was like, oh, what does the S on the chest mean? He's like, oh, it stands for hope. In the movie theaters, I wanted to be like, lame. Like, no, that shit was whack. Two, how come could he not just like use his hand to cover Zod's eyes?
You don't like anything wholesome, do you?
I know. Niggas like
nah, pure evil. But yeah, could he not just cover Zod's eyes with his hands?
I don't think that him releasing one of his hands to do that would have been a good move. Because then Zod would have been able to
break free.
Yeah, like he was in a bad way.
Yeah, okay, if it wouldn't have happened then, Zod would have tried to kill another innocent person down the line. But
last point. How come that family just didn't like move out the way?
I don't know. That's what I wondered. Is like you could have just ran this way.
Yeah,
I mean they were stricken with fear.
Yes,
I don't know.
Being frozen with fear is a real thing, but like if I'm Clark, I'm telling the family, move.
Yeah, right. Fucking move. Like, yo, move. Yeah, like I don't know, blew some wind at him or something.
Yeah,
But overall, I liked it though.
Yeah, I really, like Jordan said, the flashbacks were amazing. When he went back and talked to his dad and Jor-El, like that was all like really cool stuff. Like, like when he went back to the ship.
Yeah,
that was amazing. It's frustrating because it's like
fight scenes were good too.
Oh yeah, the fight scenes, and like they didn't like make it to where like all these people are just blasting through buildings, nothing happens. Like, nah, it was like, okay, some people died due to this for sure.
Yeah, lots of people definitely died.
DC does a lot of collateral damage.
Yeah, exactly. Like two basically gods fighting against each other. Yeah, it's gonna be some people dying.
And I mean, even before it was him and Zod fighting, like it was Superman going against Zod's right hands.
Oh yeah, people.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, in that little town.
Yeah,
Yep, it was
like
crushing
they
buildings and everything.
Feora
On
and the big one
trains.
were a problem.
Yeah. Yep. And that's what was frustrating about this movie, because it's like, you saw in this movie, okay, Zack Snyder, he understands Superman a little bit. Like, even the music, when stuff would happen, like the music would come in underneath, you'd be like, oh, okay, it feels like something a Superman movie, or reminding me of the animated series. But then he would go off and do some dumb shit, and him and Bruce would have the same moms have the same name and shit. It was just dumb.
Why did you say that name? Martha.
I was
it was just dumb. It was dumb. But if I have to choose, I'm gonna be honest. Rocking with Man of Steel on this one. Rocking with Man of Steel.
Okay, Jordan.
This one, I think this so far has been the best matchup. Man, I'm really struggling right now.
Spencer, do you have a strong take or either way?
I know my answer.
You're gonna be tiebreaker? Okay, cool. If you have to
be. If I had to rewatch one, if I had to choose one to rewatch at this moment, I would probably choose. I'll probably choose Man of Steel. I really probably would choose Man of Steel
by unanimous decision.
What a DC guy! Jeez,
I know, man.
It's Man of Steel.
You talk about going against all I stand for. This is literally going against all I stand for.
Can we take a moment to talk about Jordan's development? Remember when we started this podcast? If we even brought up DC, Jordan was like, "Nope, not doing it. Nope, not watching that shit. Nope." And then now it's like consistently picks DC over Marvel.
He's almost a DC fan.
It's because these matches. I know you guys are like wearing off on me right now. Man, these matches. I mean, Man of Steel was a good movie. I give you that. Wonder Woman was also a good movie.
Yeah.
All righty. So right now, 3-2 in favor of non-MCU. For the next matchup, we have fighting for the MCU, Black Panther. And fighting for non-MCU, Spider-Man 2. Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man.
Oh, okay.
Gentlemen, Black Panther.
I mean, we know the cultural impact. We'll kind of leave that to its own thing. As far as the movie itself, I mean, one of the greatest villains ever, right? Killmonger. T'Challa, outstanding. Introducing world building, introducing Wakanda, executed extremely well.
Remember how beautiful it was when they first came into Wakanda and you saw like everything just separates and
the music hit. Come on, man, it was beautiful.
That little African beat.
Yeah, that was fire. But yeah, like it was just a really good movie. Like, people try to be cool and be like, well, try to poke holes in it. No, it was outstanding. From top to bottom, one of the most rewatchable MCU movies out there.
I agree with that.
And like the suit design was amazing. Executing on Shuri and the whole family, and Baku, standouts. Yeah, exactly.
Obviously Killmonger, like
right. So it's like, outstanding movie, top 10 for sure.
Yeah, I mean, from the moment, we see Killmonger, the opening scene, like you knew it was gonna be a problem. Like he straight up, pulled up at the museum, told like, nah, y'all stole that, we're gonna take this back. And then also going from seeing Black Panther drop out of the plane or out of the ship or whatever you want to call that, like throwing the beads, taking out numerous enemies, like you knew it was a problem. And not like I mentioned, the opening scene of just with them going into Wakanda for the first time, and you just get to see like all the beauty that Wakanda is. It's like, it was a fantastic movie.
And
I know people talk about the CGI.
That sand explanation of Wakanda at the beginning of the movie. That was beautiful. That was beautiful.
Yeah, that was really creative. That was very creative. I agree. I almost forgot about that.
Yeah.
I mean, should we mention the music too? All the stars?
Oh my goodness. That soundtrack still hit. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Still hit.
Spencer, what you thinking, Black Panther?
I mean, it's a top tier movie. It's one of the best movies that we've seen, especially like when it came out. Oh yeah, it was too much. I have no negative things to say about Black Panther. I enjoyed it very much, and so I think that I would agree. It had one of the best villains that we have seen. Like, period. It's really hard to. I mean, there are not very many villains that you could put up against Killmonger as far as like who's a better villain. There are not very many at all. So yeah, it was quite a fantastic movie. Gentlemen, what are we thinking about Spider-Man 2?
I'll leave this to you guys. You know me, I'm not a Spider-Man guy. Good movie. Is this the one with Dr. Ock?
Yes.
Doc Ock? Really good. He was amazing. Really good villain. Probably executed that character the best of any, iteration we've seen, animated or otherwise. But yeah, I thought it was a cool movie.
I think we talked a lot about scenes that kind of stood out for us. And in this movie, like one of the biggest scenes for me is him saving the train, when pulling his body, saving the train, and then all the people in New York just like, got him above their heads, trying to bring him to safety. And they almost attempted to pull his mask off to see who he was.
Mm-hmm.
And they was like, no, we're not going to do it.
No, in the second movie.
Oh, no, they did pull it off.
Yeah, on the train when he's unconscious.
Yeah, because they found out he's
off.
a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, I got the scene all backwards. But yeah, for me, like the shot of him holding the train back, using his body was still like a beautiful piece to me. And then also, the fight between him and Doc Ock, towards the final scene on the pier. Was it the pier?
Yeah.
And was it the super collider, or am I thinking Into the Spider-Verse? Whatever he called it.
No, yeah, it was the sun in the palm of your hand. Yeah, that thing.
Yeah, that thing. Yeah. So like that whole end fight for me was like a really good scene. So with this one, this matchup, for me, I think it's pretty easy. But Spencer, what do you think about Spider-Man 2?
I really enjoyed it. Even back then and even now. It's very good. And I thought it was cool back then, but back then, there weren't just a whole bunch of quality superhero movies to compare to. And so it's one of the things that I, as an adult, looked back at and was like, was this as good as I remember it being? Or was that the time and my age and the fact that the standard wasn't where it is now and all of that? But this movie holds up very well. Because this is the movie where also we see that Spider-Man is like a problem for James Franco, Harry.
Oh, Harry.
And he finds out that it's Peter.
Right.
Yeah. Because he's not happy.
Yeah, he's got the knife. He ready. And then he pulls off the mask. It's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And he's like, Harry, I have to stop him. You have to let me go.
He likes freaked out. Let me ask y'all, do y'all prefer these first three movies or the two Amazing Spider-Man movies? So take all three of these movies versus the first two Amazing Spider-Man movies.
I have to go see Andrew Garfield. I love Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man. Not the best Peter. He's a little too cool as Peter, but I love him as Spider-Man. And I think that Tobey was a pretty good Peter Parker, but I was not a huge fan of Tobey as Spider-Man as far as the characterization.
Mm-hmm.
But I will go on record, I hate Spider-Man 3.
Oh yeah, I don't know who doesn't.
It's terrible. But Spider-Man 1 and 2 are better than the Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2. And
I agree with that.
And with that being the case, like, I would rather watch Spider-Man 1 and 2 and then just text while I'm watching Spider-Man 3. Or like play a game on my phone. Yeah, like just scroll through Instagram or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, like I can make my way through that third movie. But yeah, I like those two movies more than I like the Amazing Spider-Man movies. But I really liked Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man.
What do you think, Brandon? Which one you going with?
In that argument, I'd go the first iteration. I think this is the better. I I'm not a Spider-Man guy, but I enjoyed the villains better in that first one, and I think Peter Parker was executed better.
I would actually go with Amazing Spider-Man.
Okay.
I would actually go with those two series, and I truly agree with what you said, Spencer. I think Andrew Garfield was an amazing Spider-Man. Oh,
yes,
no
he
pun
was.
Intended.
Yes, he was.
No pun intended. But yeah, I do think he was a fantastic Spider-Man. But his Peter Parker was a little lacking for me. And I do think it was a little bit too cool. But I like the way that he fought like a lot more than Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man did, like his hand-to-hand combat. Even with the web shooters, it was way better.
Yeah, like him as Spider-Man was better, all around, in my opinion. But the movie for movie, villain for villain, like all the other parts, the first two Spider-Man movies are better movies. Which is it's unfortunate for Andrew Garfield that that's the case.
Yeah, I definitely liked Lizard over Electro, but I am happy that Electro got a chance to redeem himself in the other Spider-Man movies.
Yeah. I kind of wonder if the Amazing Spider-Man had come out earlier, like if it had come out before the MCU like Tobey Maguire did, would he have gotten his third movie?
Probably so.
I think so.
Because like again, I think that the first two Spider-Man movies with Tobey Maguire are good and stand on their own, but I think that the Amazing Spider-Man was fighting uphill also, because by that time the MCU was going and Sony just was not there and has not been there since. But Sony just didn't have it. So gentlemen, Black Panther, Spider-Man 2.
I want to hear y'all's first on this one.
I mean, it's Black Panther, right? I mean,
it's an easy Black Panther.
Okay.
Yeah, unanimous decision. All right. So we're tied at 3-3.
Game 7.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah. So, and for the next matchup,
I want to say we didn't do this on purpose, by the way.
Yeah, we did not.
The way it fell out.
This was a random number generator.
Right.
So for the next one, and also I came up with 2 more, so we may go to 9, but we're gonna see.
Okay.
For the next one, fighting for the MCU, we have Spider-Man: Homecoming. And
which one is that one?
First one.
Homecoming is the first one. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for asking. Because
they definitely all run together.
Yeah, I don't need you mixing up nothing.
Yeah. Jordan be like, man, when Jamie Foxx showed up.
Which we just talked about that. But Spider-Man: Homecoming, and playing for non-MCU, we have Blade. So, Spider-Man: Homecoming, what do we think?
I'm trying to process this. Okay. Y'all know, like, to me, Spider-Man: Homecoming is the best executed Spider-Man movie there is. Like, I think it got me, like, as you guys just pointed out, Andrew Garfield, great Spider-Man, not a great Peter Parker. Tobey Maguire, great Peter Parker, not a great Spider-Man. To me, Tom Holland was great in both categories, and he executed that in this movie so well. Like you didn't feel like, damn, I wish we got more Peter in this, like, or dang, like Peter wasn't that strong. Wish we got, like, it was cool seeing it. Either whichever one you got, whatever time they got, you were like, damn, this is really good. And like, yeah, he just felt like a nerd who, was fumbling his words, talking to girls, and just, regular high school stuff. But then also trying to figure out this whole Spider-Man thing with having a mentee as a mentor as Iron Man. Yeah, I just thought everything was executed really well. Like this was like straight from a comic book to me. And so yeah, I loved Homecoming in every way.
I agree. I mean, I think you said it perfect when you said that he executed both Spider-Man and Peter Parker. And I mean, there's a reason why he is the best Spider-Man. He's the best live action Spider-Man. Not the best Spider-Man, because that's preserved for another title, but another movie. But he is the best Spider-Man. And it has some really cool scenes. He don't do that.
I mean, okay. I mean, sure. We're just gonna give that guy the title.
No, he ain't mess with Miles.
He's better than Miles. Like, what are we talking about? Miles got
one. Brandon hates a family. Brandon hates a mantle.
I don't hate a family or mantle.
Dude, first of said Miles
things.
Also, Miles actually has cool powers that Spider-Man does not.
Those are not cool. Those are not cool. Those
are.
You
mean to tell me that his Venom shock or the fact that he can turn invisible isn't better?
No, that's not cool to me. That's like, oh, we can't have him as the same as Spider-Man, so we gotta throw it in. So what's a random ass skill? He's invisible. Yeah, let's do invisible. That'll be cool. What? That don't got shit to do with being a spider. Like what? All right, okay, we'll just go with that, I guess. But Tom Holland for Spider-Man has proved it 3 times. Let's see Miles do it again. That's all I'm saying.
We will see. So in the last movie we talked about Spider-Man, how in Spider-Man 2 he had his moment with the train. In this movie, he also had his very own, train moment with him holding together, the boat that split in half.
Yep.
And yeah, that was a really good scene. I mean, Vulture came out, Michael Keaton, and he came out and did his thing.
Amazing.
He did his thing. Is this the one also where he got the suit that was like a killer suit?
Yeah,
He had the kill mode. Yeah, that was a funny moment.
Like, would you like me to activate instant kill? No, let's not do that.
Yeah,
right.
That was a funny moment. And then the fact that Brandon mentioned it, he also had Iron Man on his side. So I mean, I feel like Iron Man definitely did a good job by like he would get on to him and be like a real mentor to him, like Spider-Man, you can't be doing this. You need to stick to the neighborhood. Stop trying to worry about the bigger picture. Stick to the little streets that you own. So I feel like Tony Stark, he did his thing also in this movie by just, providing him support and backup, and also just try to be there for him and listen as well.
Yeah, man. Like just when Tony visited him at his house, he's like, "What the hell? What are you doing in here? Like, you got your suit looks awful. Your aunt is fine as hell."
He definitely tried to get at his aunt, but he passed it off to the homie.
That was the only thing that I guess as far as like comic accuracy bothered me. I was like, oh, why is Aunt May fine? Like she's supposed to be forever years old.
Right. You're supposed to Aunt May's supposed to be a sweet old lady that you're like, oh man, I really appreciate her. Not like I was distracted.
That's what I'm saying.
Like I was distracted. I've had a crush on her since a different world. So like, yeah, I was distracted, to be honest.
But I did not know she was in a different world.
Yeah, she was what's her name's roommate? When the show first started. Denise?
Yes.
Yeah, she was in there. Yep.
I know I didn't know.
Cool. Excellent. Great. That's news to me. Okay. Blade.
Another like true game changer, like literally.
Blade is the OG.
Yeah, like the OG. Like,
Blade is the reason they had the confidence to do an MCU.
Right. Blade felt like John Wick a little before John Wick, like in as far as like
That might give a little bit too credit. That might be too much credit.
it was John Wick before like the fight scenes. You just add obviously some superhero aspects to it, but like the fight scenes, we in the club, you know, we fighting when the rain's coming down, like you know, like yeah, man.
And that's the thing. Like Blade did that in the 90s.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and that was a classic scene, like just fighting in the club. That's classic, or rave, whatever. But yeah, it's just Wesley. I mean, it was Wesley. Like
that was prime Wesley Snipes.
Yeah, that's prime Wesley. Like when he was running Hollywood, Wesley Snipes. You know, so. But yeah, like Blade just in general is a cool ass character. No matter animated, any iteration you get, he's amazing. And so like just the fight scenes, I would love to rewatch Blade just to see those fight scenes again. But yeah, it was just a really well told story. Like this one gonna be tough a little bit.
I'd say it definitely introduced me to who Blade is, and as far as like being a vampire slayer. Because he also has some pretty cool gadgets. Like, didn't he have some exploding basically some exploding flashbangs?
Yeah, like some like UV grenades.
Yeah, like I thought that was pretty cool. And also like every time he like killed a vampire, the base would like turn to dust. Yep. Like I remember like seeing that as a kid, like dang, that's pretty cool. And like I remember how it's so weird to say, but like I remember how sharp his blade looks, like and how like metallic and silver I thought it looked.
Yeah.
And it's like such a weird thing for me, but like I could just remember how metallic it looked. I mean I do agree. Like I think Wesley Snipes' blade was really cool. And I'm definitely 100% looking forward to whatever they do with the new blade. And I hope they can do like, you know, justice to the character.
Agreed.
Yeah. I agree.
I mean, I guess, like I said, I didn't know Blade was a comic book when I saw him, or I didn't know he was a part of Marvel or any. I thought he was just a vampire hunter, and I was like, my guy. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, same.
Once I found out that he belonged to the world, I was like, oh, even more perfect.
Yeah.
So we all found out thanks to Marvel Ultimate Alliance, huh?
Yep.
No,
Brandon knew from Spider-Man show, but
yeah.
Oh yeah.
And yeah. So, all right, Spider-Man: Homecoming versus Blade. What are we thinking?
Let y'all go first.
So the way I've been picking these is like, which one would I rather rewatch, and which one do I think I would find more enjoyment in? And honestly, I would probably go Blade this one. I think I would want to see Blade again. If I had a choice to sit down and watch both of these movies, I would probably go Blade. Probably 7 out of 10 times, 6 out of 10 times. Yeah, I feel comfortable with saying Blade. What about y'all?
Spenser, what you think?
As much as I love Blade, I think I have to go Spider-Man: Homecoming.
Oh, our first disagreement. The world been waiting on this one.
This is tough. Out of respect for Blade, I really want to rewatch Blade. Like I really do. But I am not a Spider-Man guy, as I've said 1,000 times. And for me to love Homecoming the way I did, that's when I was like, okay, they really killed it. For me to love Spider-Man, oh yeah, you killed it. So yeah, I gotta go Homecoming for sure.
And by split decision, we have Spider-Man: Homecoming. So I have 2 more. Right now, it's a 4-3 MCU lead.
Of course, the MCU machine always wins, right?
Well, again, it depends on the matchup. So who knows? Right now, non-MCU got 2 more chances, but yes, the MCU machine does usually win. And depending on how these matchups could have changed, you know, that may not have been the case. So who knows? Because, like, for example, The Dark Knight had a very easy matchup.
Mhm.
If the Dark Knight would have been in another place, who knows? So,
I mean, I feel like the Dark Knight in all these movies, only one that would have stood a chance against is Winter Soldier and potentially, what's the other Marvel movies?
so our first matchup was Wonder Woman and Iron Man. Number 2, The Dark Knight and Captain Marvel. Number 3, Deadpool and Winter Soldier. Number 4, Shazam and Thor Ragnarok. Number 5, Man of Steel and Ant-Man. Number 6, Spider-Man 2 and Black Panther. Number 7, Blade and Spider-Man Homecoming.
Yeah, I think Dark Knight up against Black Panther. That could have been another good one, but I think the best option would have been to put that one against Winter Soldier. What would y'all have picked out of Black Panther and Dark Knight?
Dark Knight.
I don't have the time to think about that right now. But if we do this again and that matchup comes up, we'll see.
I think I probably would have went Black Panther, honestly.
Okay.
And I forgot. This is a tough one for Spenser. This is two of his characters that he really enjoys.
Indeed. So I'm gonna do 2 more matchups. We're gonna see what happens. For the MCU, we have Shang-Chi, The Legend of the Ten Rings.
You mean Shang-Chi?
No, I said what I meant. And for non-MCU, we have Hancock.
Ooh, the Will Smith superhero movie where toxic white women are the bad guy.
Alrighty. So, Shang-Chi. What do we think?
I mean,
Brandon, I'm gonna let you go.
Obviously, y'all know how I feel about Shang-Chi. Now, I don't know if white women are Brandon's arch nemesis like it is for Hancock, but we shall see what it is.
Why am I getting? Why is slander coming my way all day? Yeah, Shang-Chi. I mean, it was cool,
Such a hater.
I'm just saying, like, it was a good movie. Good is where it's probably gonna get for me. I thought the best character was the dad, honestly. The Mandarin. Yeah. Did a solid job. Jordan, what do you think?
You're out here struggling.
He's a hater.
That's crazy. Maybe Brandon like Asian people. Maybe that's what
again. Like, these are blasphemous statements.
Hashtag stop the Asian hate. That's crazy. But I mean, we talked about it on multiple, MCU related episodes. I really liked Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi was a fun ride for me. Only problem was the dragon was a little crazy. And even then, I was still kind of fine with it. It was a beautiful movie. The dad was an amazing character. Shang-Chi was amazing character. The whole bus, scene, the first 30 minutes of the movie, fantastic. Fantastic. One of the weakest characters though was what is the ninja dude name with the white mask? Something killer. No. Death Dealer.
Oh yeah.
Is that his name? I feel like that's his name. Death Dealer.
I know it was the character. I forgot his name though.
Yeah, it was the one with the white mask on, like the orange and the blue suit and all that. I feel like that was probably the weakest character. I feel like they definitely didn't. Yeah, Death Dealer. Oh, I was right. Look at that. Your boy good. But I mean, I really enjoyed the movie. Top 10, top 12 for me. Which we know that because we did a whole episode on it.
Yes, we did. Go review that. Yeah. The first 2 acts of Shang-Chi were very good. That third act, there were some things that's like,
different movie.
We probably shouldn't have done that. Like when they get to Ta Lo, it's like, what are we doing here? What's happening?
It should have been a hand-to-hand battle, straight up, him and the Mandarin. Then
yeah. Now it was.
Kept it was level.
was a beautiful place, and like visually it was cool, but like what happened in Talo was like, okay, what okay, what are we doing here? So but yeah, I thought that the fight choreography was very good, very well done, and it made me, or it reminded me of like older kung fu movies. Like I just enjoyed it. I thought it was good. Hancock, one of the sleepers, one of the movies that people don't think about and they forget about because it doesn't belong to a comic book property, as far as I understand.
Was it an independent comic, Jordan?
I don't think it's anything. I think it's just something they made up.
Yeah, it was just a story.
Was it? Okay.
If it is, cool. But like
I was say, if it is, it probably came after. If it is, but I think it's just something they completely made up.
Okay. Yeah, Hancock was cool. It was definitely different. Obviously different than what we usually see from comic book movies. But yeah, I enjoyed it. Will Smith, obviously great. And yeah, just the plot was really cool. It was definitely different than we had seen. Like he was definitely not a likable guy at all.
I think it's so funny him flying drunk.
Yeah, like
and just like crashing.
Irresponsible as hell.
Whatever happened to Hancock 2? Like, what did it not do good enough? Where's Hancock 2 at, man?
I mean, there may have never been a plan for Hancock 2. Who knows? Because I was under the impression like, oh, okay, so somebody, because in superhero fashion, usually somebody with the same powers shows up, and that's the problem. So I figured, okay, if the Hancock people are born in pairs, then somebody else is gonna show up and be like, we got a problem. So like I just knew that there was going to be a sequel where he fought somebody who like knew his past, and we were going to get a bunch of flashbacks, and
somebody, a black woman mad at him.
Yeah, like somebody who had their memory was going to be like, nigga, I hate you. Yeah, like I just knew that was going to happen, and it just didn't. And Will Smith has since been canceled, so I don't think.
But for real, was there a villain in this movie?
Kinda, barely. There was the guy who robbed the bank, who Hancock cut his hand off, and then.
Oh yeah.
What was the point of this movie?
So, the gist, I guess.
I remember he forgot who he was, really.
Yeah. So he and Charlize were a pair, and I think that all of these godlike beings were set up in pairs, and so whenever they were together they didn't have powers, so that they could age like normal people. Whenever they're separated, they have powers. So Charlize and Will Smith were married in like the 1920s, and they were leaving a movie theater. He gets hit over the head, he loses his memory, she runs away, and then they both have powers now, and they've just been living for this whole time. So when he lost his memory and he woke up like in the hospital, they asked for his John Hancock signature, and he was like, oh, that must be my name. And he's just been sad and living without a memory. And he's just a surly man.
Exactly.
Doesn't know what's going on. But then
until his strong white woman came and saved him, huh?
Well, them bumping into each other was why there were problems in the movie.
Yeah, right.
Because she was trying to beat him up at first, huh?
Well, so it turns out that Jason Bateman, the guy that Hancock ends up saving from the train, was married to her.
Yeah.
And it was one of those like fate seems to always bring us together somehow situations. Right. So Jason Bateman gets saved, and Jason Bateman is like, all right, I'm a PR guy, so we need to clean you up. The people hate you, and that's not going to work. So Jason Bateman starts, like coming up with a bunch of ways for him to like show the world like, oh, we need him. So we, need to get to a point where we can appreciate him and where we want him to be here and all that, because everybody's like, fuck that guy, because he's a terrible person.
Yes.
So, Jason Bateman is married to Charlize, who knows exactly who he is and what's going on, but she's trying to keep him in the dark.
Now. Yeah.
That's probably the best scene in that house, in the house.
Yeah. Because, like they kiss and then she chunks his ass outside and is like, if you tell him, I will kill you. And she had like weather powers too.
Yeah, because I remember it was like a tornado and all that, and they was like going across the world.
Yeah. So, because I think that it was something like, so are we both strong? And she was like, no, I'm stronger than you are.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. I mean, I think I'm good with my decision.
Okay.
I mean, it's not.
I think I know where you're going.
Yeah. It's not Hancock. I gotta be honest with you.
Okay.
It's not Hancock.
So you're going Shang-Chi. All right. Brandon?
I guess, I'll go with Shang-Chi.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's how I felt. That's how I felt when I had to pick Thor Ragnarok. That's exactly how I felt.
Yeah, if you would have put anything with quality against this, I would definitely have to think about it.
Okay. Well, that's how stuff shakes out.
No, it does. So Hancock was better when I saw it originally than now that it's aged. Definitely doesn't hit the same.
Yeah. All right. Unanimous decision. We have Shang-Chi, Legend of the Ten Rings, as the winner. So the MCU is now 5-3.
Oh boy.
So this last one doesn't even matter. But
let's
we're gonna do it anyway. Playing for the MCU, we have Doctor Strange. And playing for non-MCU, we have Aquaman.
That's actually a pretty good matchup.
Yeah.
That's actually a pretty good matchup.
All right.
And actually, I think I know, and I honestly know what mine is. It's crazy.
Okay.
But let's talk Doctor Strange.
So Doctor Strange. I mean, I thought that visually stunning. Like this movie, like how visually, how people felt about Inception and like all the shit they were doing in Inception.
Mm-hmm.
Like I thought this was like a step above that. It felt like,
right?
Because the whole whenever she was like, "Open your third eye," and
right.
And the whole whenever they were in the mirror dimension and like all of that stuff was great. And another thing, as far as like the CGI goes, the cloak was really good.
Yeah, it was.
Because that would have been easy to fuck up.
Yeah, true.
But I feel like the cloak was done very well, visually and like character wise.
Right.
But I mean, we see him get humbled in this movie.
Right.
Like he goes from being the most arrogant to very, very angry that he can't do what he needs to do. And then he's skeptical. And then when he sees the shit, he's like, oh my God, I have to have this.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, no. I do have a problem with the casting of the Ancient One.
Yeah, of course.
That's not how that should have gone. And I do have a problem with how Dormammu was portrayed. I think that I almost wonder why Caecilius was even there. I mean, he looked cool or whatever, but like, I don't care about you at all. And Dormammu, again, I think Dormammu was very poorly executed. I'm okay with how he defeated Dormammu. I don't think it's great, but I'm okay with it. Because that was a tactical like I know I can't just go up with you. So I have to outsmart you in some way. So I'm okay with how that happened, but it's not my favorite ending by any means.
Right.
Yeah. I would
Go
say,
ahead,
yeah, what
Drew.
you gonna say, Brian? Because I mean, I feel like we spent enough time with the MCU. I was gonna go with Aquaman and talk about Aquaman because I feel like not a lot of people get to hear us talk about the DC movies. They've heard us talk about MC movies a lot.
You're right.
Yeah.
So I'll start off. I enjoyed Aquaman. Like I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I was going to actually like it. One of my favorite scenes from Aquaman is when they're battling the deep. Is that what they're called?
Is it the trench?
The trench. Yeah. That sequence, that scene was scary. Like
yeah, them things were terrifying.
They were.
Yeah. Like I didn't think everybody was gonna make it out of there.
Right.
And I also enjoyed the battle scenes in is there Brazil when he was going against Black Manta?
Oh yeah,
like on buildings and all that.
Mm-hmm.
My nigga.
Yeah.
Love Black Manta.
Yeah, like I really enjoyed it. And I would honestly, in my opinion, I would probably put Aquaman as maybe top 5 for sure of like DC movies.
Oh yeah.
Because I mean, I really enjoyed it. And, I mean, of course, Jason Momoa. I mean, I'm a pretty straight guy, but that boy Jason Momoa, that was Mr. Steal Your Girl. That boy was not playing in this movie. And it looked really cool too when he finally got the orange, like the classic orange scales.
Yeah.
That was pretty nice too.
Yeah.
So
I'm probably more of an Aquaman fan than most people out there. I've always loved his power set, loved his story, and loved how I always loved the person who's like extremely like could low-key be like over the top powerful, but just doesn't get the pub or the, like everybody else. Like he can go one on 1v1 versus Superman and be okay. Or he could try to take over the earth, which he's done in different iterations.
That's why they have to put him up with Wonder Woman.
Exactly.
Like, whenever Aquaman like has to go up against somebody who is like a problem, they put him up with Wonder Woman because those are two of the only people that can hang with one another.
Right. Yeah, and I thought they executed it really well. I'm not a huge fan of the way Jason Momoa plays the character, but that is what it is.
You don't like bro dude Aquaman.
Yeah, exactly. I don't like bro Aquaman. Aquaman usually isn't the funny guy in the Justice League. You know what I mean? But yeah, I thought overall though, beautiful movie. Like,
so you want a Shakespearean Aquaman?
Yeah, like I want a Aquaman where like he's like, no, I don't want to take the throne. Like I'm humble. I don't really want that. And then has to take the throne, and then is thrust into that. I don't want like, yeah, bro, yeah, Batman. Like I don't want that guy.
This sounds like my Thor argument, don't it?
Yeah.
Like you like your Aquaman a little classic, like I like my Thor a little classic,
serious. Thor's world is a little goofier than Aquaman's, but because that involves like magic and all kind of other stuff involved. But yeah, I just think overall though, beautiful movie. I think they executed for the most part everything. Again, the trench, the Black Manta fight, Ocean Master was really good.
Yeah, it was.
And just the trident and all that stuff, and like explaining Atlantis, like the flashbacks or in like the explaining of the whole world was really cool. But yeah, I thought Aquaman is like slept on as far as like DC movies. Like to me, it's like top 3 easy, and then you can kind of decide how you want to go from there. But
Aquaman is slept on in general, like as a character, and
exactly
in regards to this movie, like people for whatever reason. Aquaman is just not cool, and I think they tried to overcorrect to make him cool with Jason Momoa in his portrayal.
Yeah, they tried to pick like the coolest guy out there and put him as it, and didn't really fit.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, if I had to hire a PR person for any superhero in the world, it would be for Aquaman. He has the worst PR campaign in history. Like he just gets, it's just from every angle, Family Guy, all these random things just making fun of him. When like in actuality, he's one of the coolest characters out there.
Yeah, like and that's one of the reasons I'm kind of glad we're talking about it, because a lot of people are like, "Oh, he talks to fish." No, Aquaman's a fucking problem.
Yeah, like,
and I have said those words on this podcast more than once, I am sure. But
right.
Aquaman could ruin a lot of people's day.
Like, I mean, I hate to compare, but like the way Namor went into Wakanda and, you know, did pretty good work, pretty short work of Wakanda. Aquaman would have had that bitch like drowned in a matter of minutes. Like it would have been over. There is no,
because Aquaman, I mean, you know, different characterizations of people, but yeah, like if we're looking at a comic book Aquaman, mercy is not really a thing that he does.
Yeah, like it's
and
not.
So, like if Wonder Woman had killed, like if Wonder Woman's people had killed one of Aquaman's people, Aquaman is going to drown the island.
Exactly. There is no Themyscira. It is over. Had a good run. Yeah. It's over.
Like,
yeah. And that's the thing. Like the trident can pierce Superman's skin. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, magic. Like that. Exactly. Like the thing. There's only a few people out there that can affect Superman. I think it was like Hawk Girl's. What's it called?
Her mace.
Her mace.
Nth metal mace.
Nth metal. Yeah. But like, yeah, the trident is extremely powerful. Not to mention, like, Aquaman's power set in general is just crazy. So, yeah, I really, really enjoy this movie. I hope if they do this whole reset, if Jason Momoa isn't Aquaman, I'll be okay. If he is, I'll be okay. Like, it's not easy to do.
I think he's supposed to be, but I don't
know, because I know Aquaman's going to lead in the Superman, and that I believe that's after the reset. However, who knows what's going to happen in Aquaman itself?
Because I knew that it was after the reset, and that's why I was confused when I heard that he was still going to be. But
yeah,
that I could have heard that before, you know, they changed stuff up. So I have no idea. I don't watch trailers, so
I'm glad James Gunn took over, because he's not a dumbass. And I feel like WB, if they didn't have a leader, they would have been like, yeah, you can play Lobo. You can play both characters in the same universe. It'll be fine. No one would be confused.
No one would notice.
Yeah, no one would care.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, you're Jason Momoa. Who cares? And I'm glad James Gunn's not that stupid. Like he said, no, we're not doing that.
I have already said Roman Reigns as Lobo. That's the answer.
Sure.
I've already put it out there. Like they just need to do it.
All right. So yeah, if Jason Momoa stays on, which possibly could be the case, yeah, I'd be interested, and I'm excited for this new Aquaman coming out this year.
Yeah, I think that might be pretty good. Hopefully,
yeah. But what are y'all voting?
I'm voting Aquaman.
I might be rolling with Aquaman as well.
I guess as Spenser said, by unanimous decision, I'm rolling with Aquaman.
Alrighty.
I need to rewatch that one. Pretty good movie.
Let's go back through. In the first matchup, we had Iron Man versus Wonder Woman. And by unanimous decision, Wonder Woman took the W. We had Captain Marvel versus the Dark Knight. By unanimous decision, the Dark Knight takes the W.
Of course.
That's an early lead for non-MCU.
Yeah.
But game 3, Winter Soldier versus Deadpool. Which, you know, had Deadpool been up against anything else, it could have gone a different way.
Yeah. When against the GOAT. It's a wrap.
But Winter Soldier takes the W on that one. We have Thor Ragnarok versus Shazam in the 4th match, and Ragnarok by unanimous decision. Jordan reluctantly agreed with the board. That brings us to even. It's 2-2. And so then we have Ant-Man versus Man of Steel. And Man of Steel walks away with the win. So now we're at a 3-2. And then Black Panther versus Spider-Man 2. Black Panther comes out with the W. So now we're tied again. It's 3-3. Game 7, we have Spider-Man Homecoming versus Blade. And, surprisingly tight matchup.
Yeah.
For some people, that's an easy W. But, both sides did the best they could. And MCU comes out on top, 4-3. We have 2 more. We have Shang-Chi versus Hancock, and MCU comes out with the W on that one. And then we have Doctor Strange up against Aquaman, and Aquaman comes out with the W. So, as was to be expected for some people, and which may be a total surprise to others, the MCU won on the day 5-4.
Closer than I thought.
Yeah. And again, it's all about the matchup.
It really is.
It could have easily, depending on what's up against what, this could have been a 7-2.
Yeah. Thanks.
The Disney machine does not stop.
Yeah. So
DC got to get off to a good start.
Yeah. And that's the thing. If it had only been DC, it would have been a lot more lopsided. But
maybe.
Well,
because the Hancock, that's a winnable one for DC. I don't know which one you would choose, but that might be a winnable one. Suicide Squad, that's a winnable one, maybe.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. If we did group movies or family movies or whatever, then that Suicide Squad would have been on the table. But Dawn of Justice would have been on the table.
Yeah.
And I don't hate Dawn of Justice, but a lot of people do. I have notes, but I don't hate it.
Right.
And we may do group movies next. The MCU has a pretty strong record with group movies.
Yeah, we might not be able to do group movies for MCU. Might have to find another franchise that has group movies. Fast and Furious.
Because the MCU, it might have to be the MCU versus everybody.
Yeah, it might still win.
It might still, because it knows how to do a group movie, or at least so far.
Right.
So,
well, is there anything else?
Rate and review us.
That's right.
Please
rate and review us. Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, Podbean, whatever you use for streaming us. Please rate and review us there.
And if you could join the Facebook group and tell us if you agree with our decisions.
Yes.
Because all but one were unanimous here, but you might disagree with the decision that we made.
Yeah.
And so
we'll definitely add these to the group. Add a few of these discussions to the group.
Oh yeah, we're definitely going to see how y'all feel about some of these, because again, some of these we didn't even need to talk about it, but some of them that's actually an interesting conversation to be had. So yeah, we may post a couple of these for you to actually vote, and you will only be able to do that if you are in the Facebook group.
That's right. Well, with that being said, we'll never duplicate it.
Always appreciate it.
And forever melanated.